Hello, everyone. I'm Chris Flynn, and I'm here with
Scott Lang.
And we are the Band Dads, here to bring you a podcast about something that we care very dearly about, which is music education and band.
Some of you are here because you want to learn about all things band. Some of you are here because you want to see a train wreck, and the answer is yes to both of those. We don't care why you're here. We're going to answer all the questions. We're going to say the things you're thinking. We're going to debunk all the myths.
Yep. This is the Band Dads Podcast.
The podcast by and for confused band parents.
Nice. You said the tagline.
We now join the following program already in progress.
So you end up, you're done with the first semester, and largely it's a period of recovery and let's see if we can duct tape a holiday concert back together.
Gotcha.
You know, in 2.5 or 3 weeks.
Sure.
So you end the first semester.
Okay.
And I think the average parent would say, okay, marching band's over. It's
concert season?
Correct.
Okay.
And it's going to be much
calmer, easier, less stress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most people don't realize the second semester's far busier than the first semester.
Okay.
But it's spread, instead of consolidated across one ensemble, there's all region, all state, all jazz, area concert band festival, area jazz band festival, state concert band festival, state jazz band festival, auditions for all region, auditions for all state, the actual all region, 16 of 18 weekends. And that's not including indoor drumline and indoor percussion.
Right.
16 of 18 weekends.
Don't forget our guard friends. They don't get enough.
Winter guard. I apologize. You're 100%. And by the way, if I can just say, I'm a drummer.
Yeah.
I get winter guard more than I get winter drumline.
Oh.
I think winter guard.
Like artistically?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because
I could see that actually.
Here's my problem. And I'm a drummer.
I can see that actually.
Drums were never made to be played indoors.
Yeah,
you don't get the clarity, the articulation, the balance. I respect the art form.
Right.
But what I hear is
gotcha.
And when I see a really good winter guard with a really good sound system.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's emotional.
Yeah. I'll say this again, and folks, again, this is one of those, if you don't have a kid in color guard, but your school's involved in color guard, again, go to one of the events, go to one of the competitions, just so you can understand and take it in a little bit. Because I think the cool thing about color guard is, to your point, I think it's because it's more fluid. It's almost easier to digest, I guess, as an art form to some extent.
Yes.
And you know what I mean? Like
way easier to digest.
Yeah. So the point where you can look at it and kind of like you would look at any art and go, oh, this is the one I'm taking from it. This is my interpretation, like all those things. So it is a little more interactive.
It's, and the thing is, color guard is by and large a visual activity, and indoor drumline is by and large an auditory activity.
Right.
And parents are much better trained to watch something they are to hear something.
Yeah.
But if I can just drop in, and I'm just going to do it, because whenever I talk about winter guard, I have to say it. If you've not seen Pride of Cincinnati, both sides now, okay, it's the prettiest thing I've ever seen put on a stage ever in my life. I've probably watched it 500 times, and I cry at the end of it every time.
Cincinnati.
Both sides now. Joni Mitchell's Both Sides Now. I think it was 1999.
Okay.
Everyone pause the Band Dad podcast and watch that and come back, and you'll have a greater appreciation.
I've never seen it myself, so I'm gonna. So
we're back to second semester.
So I just want to say, though, I think that's a fair point. And again, and I hope that people really do take away, because again, I know sometimes this is why I pause you a little bit. And I in previous episodes, I have even done my own interruptions to the episodes to try and to slow things down a little bit. I want everybody to kind of pause on that point for a moment, because that does make a lot of sense. And it really is obvious, but for some reason, we just don't see it as parents that for marching band, they're basically working with everybody together all at the same time, which we're not saying that that's an easy process by any means, but now take that same idea and break it back out times 12 of all those different individual things. And I don't know, that seems way more difficult to manage. So I don't think we give enough credit to the fact that, so that's a really good point.
Find another activity that places the same level of responsibility and value on a 13-year-old as an 18-year-old.
Yeah, no, agreed.
Now, you might have a 13-year-old playing freshman football, but they ain't playing varsity.
Yeah.
And if they are, they're place kicker holder. Sure. You may have a 13-year-old in the school play, but they don't have the lead.
Right.
Like you may have a 13-year-old on the academic decathlon team, but they're not the lead questioner.
Yeah.
So that's the thing I think that makes marching band so unique and what I was trying to explain was that we take the best players down to the most base levels, but then rise the bass players up to the most expert levels,
right,
and value them the same.
Right. But in terms of just like the director and their involvement and to your point, the level of stress and activity itself, you know, in marching band, again, they have texts maybe that help, but again, the group comes together as one to accomplish this thing versus, again, when we're talking about all the different concert ensembles,
yes, correct,
competitions and all that, they're basically on their own, managing each group themselves to each individual standard.
That's why the parents don't think it's busier than the marching band semester, because they don't see all the various parts. Right. If your kid's not in jazz band, You don't know the jazz band
That's
had a gig
very
this
true.
weekend. If your kid's not in the top wind ensemble, you don't know that all region auditions are this
If you
weekend.
guys don't follow us on social media, by the way, Jazz is the cool band. I'm just
Oh,
gonna,
my band's going to play.
Jazz is the cool band.
I'm going to play your recording at the end of this.
Oh, I believe.
Maybe it could be the outtake.
I believe you.
So the second semester, like parents don't realize, but what's really important is you don't see the growth in your child, but that's when the real growth in your child happens so that they're ready to take on the next fall.
Okay.
Like that's when we're building the building blocks of how do you play and how do you think and how do you listen and how do you appreciate this literature that's in front of you.
Sure.
So I think sometimes, parents would always, and they didn't mean it this way. They're like, oh, you must be so glad marching band's over. And I would think, yeah, so I can work more weekends than I do in the fall.
Gotcha.
And you think about that. We've been through band camp now. And
Yep.
we understand that it's about taking the best, bringing them down to the lowest, and then raising everyone up together. We know that with each and every passing year, there's a different learning experience. And
For
that's
sure.
what brings us back.
Yes.
We know that as we get into the season, the juniors and senior parents get it.
Yeah.
But the freshmen and the sophomore parents, freshmen don't get it at all. And sophomore parents are probably starting to get a light bulb that turns on.
Right. Sure.
It's not about winning. But let's talk about the director for a second.
Okay.
So imagine, when do you think our director started plotting next year's show?
Geez, to your point, I assume he's involved in all these different things. I don't know, maybe sometime after the first of the year, maybe third would be the beginning of second semester, I guess, maybe sometime around there.
He didn't commit to it, but he knew in San Antonio on November 15th.
So
He
during
knew
the
what next year's
previous
shows-
season.
Yeah. All the programs right now. So we're talking about second semester, and we know I'm trying to disassociate the kid experience, right?
Yeah.
As the parent experience, they're learning the fundamentals. You just don't see it because they're not performing for you every Friday night.
Right.
But as the parent, what you don't understand is the machine is in motion for the following year. The budget is being set. The props are being secured and bought or designed. The show concept is being vetted back and forth. And it's usually a long, arduous process. The music is being picked. The first sketches of the music are already being sketched out.
Dang.
You've hired a drill writer.
Yeah.
There's a whole business part of this activity that's happening starting usually, and they're really good. The really top flight programs usually have a twinkle in their eye August a year in advance.
Okay.
They're like, oh, I saw Cirque du Soleil and now I have an idea.
Interesting.
It's not vetted. It's not.
Okay.
But I will tell you, most of the really good bands, by the time they end a marching season, they're already in motion for next year. They're
Interesting.
already in flight. The color guard silks are already being designed and they're already planning on, well, let's try this movement and this move. Now, some of it may change and may fail, but outside of all the learnings that your children are having that you're not seeing that are as important, if not more important than the marching band thing, that the machine is in motion for the next 14 months are being planned.
Do you think is it because do you think it's because they have to, or again, does a director really do they enjoy marching band that much? They have an activity that's always kind of on their mind, that they want to look ahead. They want to always be planning it. They want to kind of be involved in it to kind of keep that spark going, or is it just truly out of necessity?
It's necessity. The art form has become so sophisticated.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so unbelievable. I went to a show reveal. And I think I can tell you what it is because they revealed it. The drum corps revealed it Monday morning. I went to a drum corps show reveal this past Saturday night.
Okay.
And they came out, and this is April 15th.
Yeah.
They had completed silks, completed uniforms, designed to stitch. They modeled them that night. The brand new horde line had been secured, bought, paid for. The opener was learned. All 5 movements of music were arranged.
Yeah.
The drill was already in motion for the season, and it was April 26th.
Gotcha.
Like the idea, the machinations of this concept, which is London fog.
Okay.
Well, that's okay. What's a uniform look like? Well, it's got to represent fog. It should have pieces that come out. And what is the music? Well, you've got to play the Crown March from Victoria as well. Okay, if we're going to do that, how are we going to use a silk that represents London? I mean, and the way they storyboarded that,
Yeah.
you realize there are some brilliant minds in this world,
Okay.
and I'm not one of them.
That's what it took you to realize? It took you that show reveal to come up with that? Apparently you didn't listen to any of the other episodes that we recorded prior
Should
to
I
April
have realized
26th.
when I didn't know who Lei Fei was?
I mean, maybe.
Does
Again,
any of that surprise you?
So I don't know. Short answer is yes. But the more and more we talk about, again, marching and the activity and band itself, I almost become less surprised just because, not that it's not impressive by any means, but the more that we understand about this activity and how deep it goes, I'm just like, yeah, of course they do. Like, yeah, you know what? I could see how, you know what I mean? That when the way you explain it and it comes together, like I said, it's almost like Captain Obvious telling me something I should already know, but we just don't pay attention to it. I don't know why we don't. I don't know why we don't see those things until somebody puts it right in front of our face to say, look, here it is.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you will, look right here.
But I think that's also one of the reasons why the activity itself doesn't get enough attention personally. And, you know, again, these drum corps, man, they put incredible products out on the field. But I would tell you that I feel like the attention and the audience that DCI is it's just way underrated. It doesn't get the audience it deserves because they have to play.
I would agree. And I think DCI
is a community college.
DCI is incredible. And I want to talk about this in our summer band camp episode. Okay. But here's the difference between DCI and high school marching bands. DCI auditions and cuts.
Okay, that's fair.
And so you're talking starting with a much higher level product. The difference between the low and the high is a much smaller gap than the difference between an 8th grader and a senior in high school.
Right.
And so their learning gap. Now, I don't want to diminish their achievement at all.
Right.
I mean, those kids work so incredibly hard. They're rehearsing 12 hours a day.
Right.
But it is not, that is product based. Sure. And high school marching band is process based.
No, 100%. But I guess I think what I'm saying is that's why I'm almost surprised that, again, it's not more popular than it is, if that makes any sense. So yes, it's a better product. They cut people. Not only that, but instead of paying $1,000 band fee, they're paying a $6,000 fee, right? To participate in the event, right? So,
and worth every penny, if you ask me.
Absolutely fair. And again,
think about this. If I could take your kid on the road for 55 days and show him the country and give him and by the way, food, clothing, supervision, facilities, air conditioning, buses, transportation, teach them, and then give them an audience of 6,000 people every night.
You want to do a money episode, DCI edition? You want to do that? We'll pick a core and we'll break down the cost so everybody can.
Well, we see if our money episode for band gets more popular first.
It's doing fine. Don't listen to him. It's doing just fine. So again, where I'm going with is, we would say that DCI is basically the professional version of marching, would we not?
Yeah, they call it marching music's major leagues.
Okay.
But I would tell you the reason for being couldn't be more different.
Okay, well, hold that for a minute, because the reason why I'm asking that or reiterating that point is, before my kid was in marching band, I've never heard of it.
Right, correct.
That's my point. So they put out this incredible product. These kids are incredibly talented. The skill level is so high, but yet again, people don't know about it.
Because it's incestuous. You know why the Philadelphia Phillies get 45,000 people at their baseball game? Because 45,000 kids played Little League baseball.
I guess that's my point. I guess we're saying
if you don't have that base audience to begin with, that it's like I said in the last episode, no one does 4 years of high school as a varsity football player and says, hey, I think I want to be a marching band director. No, It comes from within the activity. Yeah. And so since the group participation, not at the high school level, but if you look at the overall population, if you gathered 1,000 kids and said, how many of you played youth sports? Every hand would go up. Well, there's your audience.
You're absolutely right.
And if you said, how many of you were in a marching band, 10% of the hands would go up. Now 10% whittles down to how many follow it through in college, and then how many could join a drum corps, and then how many kids were in a drum. And so that funnel gets really, really small.
Yeah.
But again, I love drum corps, but the fundamental purpose of drum corps is to stretch the activity. The fundamental purpose of marching band is to stretch the child.
Sorry. We got a little off track there. You're right. No. Sorry. We got a little off track there. I guess I just wanted to bring some attention to the fact that, again, I do think that this product that this group puts out is incredible. What DCI does is fantastic, and just not enough people know about it. So we got a little sidetracked there. So we get back on track.
One of the things, so we hit the end. We talked about band camp. We talked about the fall semester. We talked about the transition to concert
season.
We talked about as we come to the end, like there, to me, the end of the year there's two purposes. Mm-hmm. Celebrate and recuperate.
Okay.
And I think we're really good at one and really bad at the other. And so
which one are we? Which one's the winner here?
We're really good at celebrating.
Okay.
I mean, I really think the band directors, there are band banquets, and there's end of year awards, and there's an end of year concert, and there's the honoring of the seniors. And by the way, we should be good at celebrating those kids. They gave us 4 years of their life. They're deserving. They don't get enough celebration, but we're really, really good at it.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, I think is worth talking about is that, to our listeners, there's an asterisk here. Chris and our kids are on year-round calendars. we get 5 weeks off.
Yeah, we are. That's a good point. That we were in one of those districts that, we end kind of late May and then we're back the middle of July.
And
so there's no
regardless of-
summer.
No, and regardless, even if you're on a traditional calendar, unless you're way back east where they don't start till after Labor Day, the point is like it's summer chop shop. And it's summer rehearsals and it's pre-band camp, which happens.
There is no break.
No,
it doesn't stop.
And I think that's the danger part of this activity is the recuperate.
That we need more of it.
Yes. In an athletic sense, if the physicalness of the activity increases, doesn't the need for the length of recuperation increase?
That's generally true. Yes.
This has turned into a year-round activity.
Yeah.
And to its credit, to its benefit, it's stretching the art form. It's giving kids a place to be. It's all those things. For my kid, he needed time away.
Okay.
In order to get excited. And I think it's worth sharing. Like, I'm a band director. Band is like my life. My wife is so excited about band. And I told you, band camp broke my kid.
Yeah.
It broke him. I mean, it was hard. And so we took the path of, if you don't want to do a winter season, that's fine. It's your choice. And you get to choose your sophomore year. And Chris, I got to tell you, the night before auditions, he said he didn't know if he was going to do it.
That's fair.
And I was on pins and needles. But the one thing I decided was to not talk about it and give him a 3-month break from talking about band.
Sure.
And he texted me the morning of auditions and said, "Don't pick me up. I'm hanging with my friends. We have auditions tonight." And my wife and I cried.
Aww.
We cried because we're like, our kid got the band bug. But in order to get it, he needed space.
He had to find it himself.
Yeah. He had to find himself and he needed space.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing I think is we're great at celebrating. And I'm going to throw it to you, the parent.
Yeah.
And to you, the band director, not talking about Schmeil Schmenny, who works at Schmassa High School. They need a break.
Yeah.
They need time away to recharge and reignite that passion and miss it.
Okay.
Miss it.
Okay.
So as we kind of wind up our tour of the year, and I don't know that I've been as entertaining as maybe you'd like me to be. I think it's important just to give parents a holistic look of where the journey started, what they accomplished, even when they looked and sounded bad.
Yeah.
And then the actual outcome of the season was by design, and it's not meant to win every year.
Yeah.
And that the spring season is about planning for the future and building the physical and musical skills to actually execute, because it's going to be harder next year, Chris. I got news for you.
Yeah.
But Miles is going to want more from the kids. The drill's going to be harder. The music's going to be harder. And that's where while the parents aren't seeing it, that's where those skill sets are being developed. And that's part of that indoor experience.
Okay.
Winter guarding, winter drumline fuels the fall marching band, not the other way around.
No, that's fair. I can see that. No, I could see that.
But then as we come to the end here, it's what do we release? I think May 12th is the release date for this episode.
I'd have to look at a calendar.
Graduation is 10 days away.
Yeah.
That it's time to celebrate what the kids did. So I want to end my portion of this and just ask you, Chris, what did your kids, because you have multiple kids who did indoor drumline, who did marching band, who did guard, who did all sorts of things. And you're about as well-versed as any parent can be. What's your takeaway from the year?
What's my takeaway from the year?
As a parent.
Oh man, again, you do this thing sometimes where you put me on the spot, and I'm gonna have to think about this for a minute. Well, again, for my daughter, her sophomore year was definitely full of maturity, because she was kind of tasked with, and I think this is again where we're fortunate that our director, I think, is always willing to let somebody try something, if that makes any sense, and ultimately not discourage them from exploring and kind of, trying to evolve themselves musically. So I think we're fortunate in that way, because for again, my daughter this year, just the level of maturity to take on, I guess, some additional responsibility in marching band, but also learn how to work with new personalities. But concert band, I think, in particular, or I should say the concert ensembles, because she does wind ensemble and does varsity jazz, picking up 2 new instruments
as a sophomore.
So she played tuba in wind ensemble, and played bass trombone in varsity jazz. I think the lesson that they learn in terms of, again, just being humble and letting things come to them, she was willing to put in the work and not let herself get discouraged to the point where she ever, at least let her parents see that she was overwhelmed or took on too much or anything like that. She took it head on and just really accepted the responsibility of, I'm committing to myself and the band that I'm going to be responsible for these parts of the band. I want to make sure that I meet expectations of, nobody looks at me and goes, God, Ava's not doing her part, or, she's not playing, as she should be. So just the level of maturity to take on that additional responsibility, not only just to produce positive outcomes for herself this year, but to be so confident to say, I want to be a leader in marching band this year. I'm going to apply for it, go in and get it. But again, be mature enough to approach me and say, Dad, I've got this interview. Like, if I get these questions, this is what I'm thinking I'm going to say. So it literally feels like your kids they're literally growing up right in front of you.
So she's not even done with their sophomore year.
Correct.
And I can say, competitively speaking, from what I understand, the achievements weren't as high and the challenges were greater.
Correct.
And your daughter had a better experience her sophomore year than she did her freshman year. As a human being.
I would, yes, as a human being. If I was to ask her what you got, like, what did you take away more from this experience or freshman year or sophomore year? There's no question it would be sophomore year, because again, I think she took more from it this year. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. And
that's why I wanted to circle back. And I think if people watch on YouTube, I think I scared the crap out of him when I said band's the most useless curriculum in the school system today.
I wasn't prepared for that at all. I had no idea where we were going with that. Let me plug in one more thing, which is because you mentioned that. So I also have a stepson who did indoor drumline for the first time, right?
Yeah.
He was somebody who was in band in elementary school. He actually started in percussion, but I feel like what he was learning in percussion, in particular, he didn't really want to play the bells, right?
Right. Yeah.
And
By the way, the bells are a gateway to keep you from having 75 drummers.
There you go.
There's a totally pedagogical reason, but that's not really the reason you start on bells. It's to get the kid, not every boy, to sign up to be a drummer.
Okay, totally fair. And I respect that. But that was enough to push him away from it, right? So the kid switched to saxophone for his last couple of years of elementary school, and he did fine. He picked it up pretty well. He's one of those people that always at least was able to pick things up fairly naturally, right? So then he moved into junior high, and it honestly took him maybe a month in junior high band to decide it wasn't for him.
Evan switched instruments to drums too.
Oh, gotcha. No, like not at all.
Okay.
Like, I'm done. I don't really want to do this anymore, right? So he basically had removed himself from the conversation. That said, again, I think being around his siblings doing band, because again, he had 2 sisters in marching band last year, watching what they do at their level and what his future potential could be motivated him enough to say, okay, well, there's a winter season. I know I'm kind of like just coming in and I'm new to this, but if they'll take me, like, I want to try it. I'm curious enough. I want to see what the winter season is about. So he came in last minute. They put him on cymbals, which is, to his credit, not what he wanted to play. And he's already faced that once and decided to quit because of it. Well, being around it, again, being involved in the activity and being in the cymbal line reignited something in this kid that I don't know that I've ever seen. To the point where, again, he's one of those people now, and I know, there are probably drummer parents who can relate to this, and I've talked to fellow drummer parents in our band who, the kid nonstop, like I have to take his drumsticks to tell him to go to bed because he won't stop. He's practicing.
He's got
drumming,
the bug.
Everything.
Yeah.
It makes me so happy because, when your kids, I think, find the thing that I guess motivates them, and, we talk about them finding an activity that keeps them out of trouble and all those things, why it's valuable. I wasn't sure what was going to happen because he tried these things. He's tried sports. Like at some point we always hit this hurdle where it just stops him. He's done. I've never seen the kid as passionate as he is right now. And he did tryouts. He's going to march in the fall. He's going to march on an impact in the fall in the Basher Bear Regiment. He couldn't be more excited about it, Whereas my daughter, who's a junior, probably goes, "Oh, we have a chop shop today." And she's rolling her eyes like, "Ugh, chop shop." This kid's like, "I can't wait. Like, I want to get to chop shop. I want to drum. So seeing that in that kid, and again, just the potential of what it can do to turn around a kid who literally completely lost interest, tried multiple iterations of band and instruments and all those things. But this is why I think it's important to continue the exposure to it, because like when you gave your kid some space, right? We didn't push him into drumline. He decided on his own that he wanted to be a part of it. Just keeping them somewhat involved or around it, I think, just lets them kind of find their own way. And I just can't wait to see what this kid does with it now.
And it'll be, I'll tell you right now, full circle, it'll be a very different 4-year experience than your older kids. Not better, not worse, just very different.
You're right.
And so that's the thing I wanted to share with parents. And as you end this year, celebrate and recuperate. And so, your child,
that's good advice.
Your child took on something extraordinarily hard, stuck with it through thick and through thin, were selfless and determined. And whether it's in a band banquet or it's at your dinner table, celebrate.
That's an awesome point.
and then give them some time to decompress and get away from the activity.
Yeah. No, that's an awesome point. Which I think, again, engaging in more regular conversations about even what they're going through during the experience, right? Really, to your point, just understanding them. And, we hope more parents who listen to this podcast kind of hear what we're talking about and they decide themselves not to just get more motivated in the conversations with their kids, but we've talked about joining the cult, right? And being a part of the boosters this season. We talked about all of those things. Again, I just want to bring it back home to the fact that it will make your kid a better person. The effects.
That's the payload, not exactly.
It'll make your kid a better person. The effects will last their entire lifetime. I'll tell you what, I think it'll make you a better parent as well.
So, there's no question.
I think it'll make you a
better
parent.
And I'll tell you what, it gave me time with my son I wouldn't have otherwise had, and I treasure every second of it. So now do you understand the comment?
Yes.
Banned the most useless curricula.
I feel like you could reword it somehow. I still think it sounds terrible, but
your curricula is you're drilling your music. That is the curricula. That is the scope and the sequence.
No. I get where you're going.
And so, that's the thing. I think parents, especially freshman, sophomore parents, need to understand that. Disassociate the curricula from the experience.
Yeah. Because
the experience is life-changing. The curricula is your child wearing Vipers at the age of 32 in the grocery store, and that's just weird.
Scott, how about this? Because we were always trying to think of new creative, like social media content. What if we did that? Like, can I dress you up in some white dinkles one day? And can we send you out
the dinkles?
I'm just saying, like, maybe we can, to put some Tchaikovsky on your phone, play it real loud, walk into Basha supermarket with your white dinkles, and let's see if people pay attention.
You get a fan mail to write in, asking me to do it. I'll do it.
Okay, so here's what we'll do. We'll put Scott in some marching dinkles, right? And we'll make him obvious. We'll make him play some loud classical music from his phone or something. But tell us the venue too. Tell us where you want it to be. Tell us the venue. I said a supermarket, but now I'm rethinking that. Like, maybe we could send him to like a sports bar during a really important game.
I didn't agree.
It is the NBA playoffs right now. Our local teams aren't playing it because unfortunately.
I'll tell you what, my appearance location will be commensurate with the volume of fan mail.
No, you don't get to decide that. Sorry, you don't get to decide that. That's not what's going to happen. But I will say, as much as I'm still questioning your choice of wording, it sounds like a good clickbait title. So maybe I'll still name the title.
I stand by that statement.
Maybe I'll still title the episode the most useless curricula. Maybe that's what we'll call it.
It is.
Okay.
Now let me finish the sentence because we talked about the culture. Because I talk on this topic with teachers. Band is the most useless curricula in the school system today. It's the most important culture in the school system today.
So when you say that, I don't know. It just makes me want to find something more useless. There's got to be something more useless in a public school, isn't there? Okay. Well, you know what's interesting, and this is totally again off the topic. I think it's hilarious how so world out there. So I graduated high school in 1997. That's when I graduated high school, right?
I graduated in 85.
One of my favorite things to do in high school PE, because it was fun. I enjoyed it. I didn't have to think. I didn't have to do anything. Man, back in 93, 94, we used to play pickleball in the basketball courts.
Pickleball existed back then?
Yes, that's why I'm like, I see it around now. I'm like, it's just wow, like the fortitude that pickleball had to stick around for 30 years.
Do you know what is mandated?
Finally,
do you know what is mandated by the state of Arizona Education for PE?
Is pickleball in there?
A rhythmic activity. You know what it is?
Square dancing.
That's exactly correct.
Yes, we did square dance too, actually. I don't know. I'd love to hear that from people too. Okay. Let us know.
If you vote in with fan mail, Chris will square dance at the place of your location, and I will
Scott in his dinkles. We'll square dance together.
Yes, we'll do it together.
Oh my God, what are we talking about? That can't be real life.
All right, I'm Scott Lang. He's
Chris Flynn. Folks, we're the Band Dads. Follow us on all of our social media. Again, hit us up on Instagram, on TikTok, on Facebook, and YouTube. YouTube has full video episodes. They are very entertaining.
Episodes are really worth watching.
Even
if you've downloaded the episode. The John Williams one, episode 5, is absolutely hilarious.
So there you go. So find us on YouTube. Watch the episodes there. What Scott is talking about with the fan mail function, again, in the description of every episode that we publish, no matter what platform you listen to it on, you will see in the description, there's a link that says send us a text. If you click on that link, it will just open up the messaging app on your phone. You can type a message, send it right there on your cell phone. It comes directly to us on our website, and it tags geographically where you're from, so we can give you recognition as well. But
it's anonymous. We can't.
Correct.
We can't message you back. So when you don't hear from us, we're not ghosting you. we can't message you back.
Right. Through that function, we cannot. The other way to get a hold of us that we also love to see, which also allows us to have productive conversations with you, and I promise you we answer every single email, which I actually got one this week, and the guy's like, oh, now we can attest you actually answer emails. Matter of fact, we do, and as quickly as possible. Send us emails, which is feedback@banddadspodcast.com. Send us your thoughts about the episode. Season 2 is coming up. We've announced it. If you have some thoughts or some really, just great burning ideas that you think the Band Dads should tackle in season 2, send us your ideas. We'd love to take a look at them. I mentioned earlier on bands. You want to record an intro for us? Get a hold of us. Just reach out to us at feedback@banddads and let's make something happen.
And although this is at the end of season 1 in episode 8, there is a bonus episode coming. And it's episode 9, and we're calling it the teaser to season 2, in which we share some exciting changes, alterations, and a new cast of characters to join the band.
Huh?
Well, I can't tell more about it, or they might figure out who it is. But
you said exciting. So that in itself is interesting. I don't know if we've ever done anything exciting before. So shifting gears to be exciting.
I think they're going to be excited when we talk about changes for season 2 and some of the folks that'll be joining us. So it'll be the Band Dads and guests moving forward in season 2. But look for episode 9 of season 1 to launch season 2, episode 1.
So your mom and your golden retriever were happy enough with the first 8 episodes that they've blessed us. They've graced us with the approval to do a season 2. That's really exciting.
Well, if we're being honest, my mom doesn't know how to download anything. My golden retriever's happy about everything.
So are we still talking to ourselves out there? To anybody?
No.
I'm just kidding.
Folks, as we end season 1, and you can tell we're keep going because we're just so blessed.
Yes.
That we get to work with each other and we get to talk to you and you are talking to us. The audience has blown us away, exceeded every expectations.
Yep.
And we're excited to do even better work for you in season 2 of the
Band Dads podcast. One last thing. Now's the time, right? If you've had people hesitating to maybe join into the podcast,
binge listen.
That's exactly right. That's what most people wait for. They don't want to wait necessarily, and it's worth it, I promise. Some people don't want to wait 2 weeks for 40 minutes of us, unfortunately, but that's kind of the schedule that we're able to deliver on currently. So now's the time. You can catch up, you can binge them all and just go through it and be ready for season 2. So now's the time. I might binge it. I might go through and binge listening to us again.
Oh, I guarantee you I will.
Yeah, there you go. All right, Band Dads approved. Folks, we'll see you next time. Thanks so much.
Have a happy, happy Mother's Day, Mom. Have a happy, happy Mother's Day, Mom.
Happy Mother's Day!
To stay up to date with the Band Dads podcast, visit our website, banddadspodcast.com. Want to communicate with the Band Dads? Send an email to feedback@banddadspodcast.com. The Band Dads podcast is a 5 Deuce Media production. For more information, visit 5deucemedia.com. That's numeral 5deucemedia.com. For more information on Scott Lang Leadership and Solutions for Music Education, visit scottlang.net.